This video will show you how to access the literature resource databases at GCC Library. You find the library at lib.gccaz.edu or on the red bar of any GCC webpage. Click Library. Databases are found on the left and under the icons down here. They are organized by subject, and we are going to look at the English and Literature database selections. If I click Show More, there's one more database hiding under there. All of these have different types of literature criticism in them. Salem Literature is kind of cool because it shows you full text books that might be useful for this particular assignment. It's prompted me to log into the database to authenticate with my MEID and password, which apparently I do not remember. Once I log in one time correctly, it will then give me access to all of the databases, and I won't be asked to do that again. Salem Press is not about the Salem witch trials. Salem is the name of the publisher, and they have a series of books called Critical Insights Authors, and there are a number of authors, some of whom you might be studying in this class, such as Fitzgerald, Nathaniel Hawthorne. Let's see, Steinbeck is in here too. So for example, you could either search for the author you are studying, or if you saw the name on this list, you could simply click on the person that you were looking for. Let's go into Fitzgerald. This has given me access to an entire book that was printed and published and sold. We probably have this physical book in the library, but we are accessing the ebook copy, which is the same. So it's divided into these various parts, and I could go into a particular chapter and read that chapter, or I could, if I felt so inclined, read it from cover to cover. Each section of the book is considered a different citation. So if I was depending on this particular article for my paper, I could look at this article citation, as well as save it, print it, or email it to myself. When I click on the citation, I need to choose my citation format. And this one looks pretty good, aside from not being double-spaced, and the second line is not indented. So you do have to check these computer-generated citations. I can save that if I want to. I don't want to right now. I can go back to the full book, and I can look at all of the different parts. This is an entire book of literature criticism just on F. Scott Fitzgerald. I'm going to leave this open in one tab and open a new tab over here. I'm going to go back into the library databases. And this time I'm going to look at the Literature Resource Center. I could look at any of these under English and Literature. They're all useful. But for now, I'm going to go into this one. And if you watched the first video on how to search for biography databases or information in biography databases, the layout of this database should look familiar to you. It is also published by Gale. This brought me immediately to the advanced search. I could do a basic search by using this box. I could search for a particular person, such as F. Scott Fitzgerald or Edgar Allan Poe, or I could do a works search. I will show you that feature. I'm going to look for The Telltale Heart, a short story by Edgar Allan Poe. And I'm just going to hit enter here. And just like in the biography database, it wants to make sure that I have the right work. It's asking me, do I want this one by Edgar Allan Poe? It's a short story. Yes, I do. I click on that and I see 12 different literature criticism results, as well as a biography result and some topic and works overviews. It is showing me already those 12 results. So I can scroll down and see what publication it was originally published in. I might be interested in this one about mystery and suspense writers if I was focusing on Edgar Allan Poe's crime writing. If I wanted an overview of the short story, I could go into this one. This one looks like a kind of deeper literature criticism. Let's click on this. And I can tell right away that this is a scholarly article because there is an abstract, which is a feature of scholarly articles. This one is going to be a lengthy article. It's going to be written at a little bit of a higher level than maybe some of the things I have found before. And I'm going to read this carefully, and it's talking about different themes in the short story, sexuality in the short story, all sorts of things. And at the bottom, I also know this is a scholarly article because it is telling me the different other works that it relied on. These are other tales, or not tales, these are other articles that were written that are also literature criticism. And they're pretty lengthy. Later, I can see if the library database has access to any of these. If I want to cite this article, it's at the top here. Again, there's a capitalization error in this one. I can tell that right away. Quite a few capitalization errors. So you have to know MLA citation or use Noodle tools in order to get your citation absolutely correct. I can send this to myself by email or by saving to my Google Drive. And if I want to highlight various parts of this article, as soon as I highlight something, I get a choice of colors. I can also write a note if I wanted to do that. And now when I save this to my Google Drive, it also saves the highlighting and it saves the notes. Now, when I email this to myself, it will not do that. It will not save the highlighting. It will not save the note. But that is a feature that is specific to Gale databases and specific to sending to your Google Drive. I'm going to leave this open in this tab next to my Salem tab that's still open. I'm going to open yet another tab, go back to the library, go back into the databases, and now I am going to look at one more here. I might want to look at humanities source. I'm showing this one to you because it is hosted by EBSCOhost rather than Gale, so the layout is a little bit different. So if I wanted to look for Edgar Allan Poe, as soon as I start typing, the database tries to help me out by suggesting different search terms. So if I was still looking for criticism on the Telltale Heart, I could take the database's suggestion. I am going to tell the database that I want only full text. And I could say, oh, I only want scholarly peer-reviewed journals. Those are very high level results. I'm not going to do that right now. I could do that. I can always alter this search later. And now I'm going to see what it brings me. It has 23 results that are related to Edgar Allan Poe and the Telltale Heart. Actually, the database is simply looking for all of these words, maybe not in these exact order or this exact order. It's simply looking individually for all of these words. And I see that my results go all the way back to 1940. So one of these, probably the one lowest on the list, is from 1940. I'm not sure that that would be my very best choice for a paper I was writing today in 2020, but it might be interesting to see what that was that came out in 1940. And it's here. I'm going to click on it because I'm interested in looking at it. EBSCOhost always gives me what I call the landing page. This is where I'm going to find all of the information that I need for my citation. And this play in one act was published in American Literature in March 1940. That's the volume, issue, the pages, etc. And, oh, this is a review of the book. It's not actually giving me the full text right here, which annoys me because I asked it for the full text, but that's okay. I'm going to go back to the result list. And I'm going to skip the ones that are book reviews. And in fact, I can just focus on either my 2 magazine results or all of my academic journal results. Academic journals are generally where you're going to find your literary criticism. So here's one that is almost certainly literature criticism. They usually have sort of long titles. They are written by experts in literature for other experts. When I click on the title, it is going to give me that landing page again. My tools for saving are over here on the right. And if I want to see what this looked like in the original publication that it came out in, I click on that PDF full text and it tells me. This is a scholarly article. Here's my abstract, which is a summary of what the entire article is about. This one would be very useful, I think, if I was writing about Edgar Allan Poe. Like most scholarly articles, it is a long article. And at the end, I should see, yep, a list of references to other articles that are also about the same subjects covered in this article. Scholarly articles are not easy to read. They take some time and some attention, sometimes a dictionary at your side in order to be able to understand them. I can go back to my result list and I can look at all of these academic journal results for Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart. And when I find an article that looks interesting, I might not have the time to read it immediately, especially if it's a scholarly article. So I want to be sure to email this to myself so that I have it and I can look at it later at my leisure.